Let me start sharing on my side screen. And welcome everybody. Hello, how are you been? Hey, we've been reviewing a Business Central, warehousing, inventory, a lot of stuff. And today won't be the exception. We are going to check some interesting stuff for warehouse management with handhelds today. So just in case you are interested in you said what it does, how do we connect with Business Central, and so forth, right? I'm having here Kronos USA. This is my demo company, as I always use in our webinars. And let me just, meanwhile, change as well my actual screen to actually work with the warehouse. Okay, warehouse inside World Center. Hoping you're fine. We have spoken about what is warehouse management in Business Central. We call the basic, we call it WMS, right? We review some documents. Just as a general overview, the basic warehouse actually helps us to receive in one single document a purchase order, and then the advanced WMS help us to as well receive, but as well have bins with multiple locations, like with racks, right? And at the same time, very, very important, maybe the most important differentiation with basic warehouse is that we are going to be able in advanced warehouse to work with multiple documents at the same time. Okay, now the functionality we're going to see today will be through Handheld, and that actually this functionality that I will be showing today works for both types of functionalities if you want to work with it, right? Now, the idea, let me just connect actually my Handheld for you to see the process. I'm going to start sharing as well my screen. And let me just give you some explanations. Okay. And while I'm connecting, the idea here is that as well, I'm going to print my bins report, my item report, and I'm going to receive, ship, pick and put away, physical count. And what is the idea, right? It will be important to mention why would I use a scanner. Look at my screen. I'm accessing to my scanner, by the way, so you can see I'm accessing with my password and my credentials, basically. While I access, I wanted to explain why do we use a handheld? Remember that we are actually just learning. We are not the super warehouse management users that know everything, right, in Business Central. So standard Business Central works with warehousing functions. They are very cool, etc., but they have one constraint, especially if you actually want to be really accurate working time, that we actually still print reports. Let's say that you want to do a physical count. As an example, well, we would need to print a physical count sheet provided to the warehouse clerk, and then voila, he can then just go and start counting, right? And that would be then quite a mess if you understand in the end, because you would need to control through different multiple pages, maybe 50 to 100 different pages, and hopefully without having issues while writing down information. And of course, 1 or 2 pages might get lost, that's for sure. But in the end, no matter what, we're gonna get delays, right? And it will be that accurate if you understand what I'm saying. And this is just a normal physical count. But let's talk about that you have multiple transactions on a daily basis for reception, for shipping, and then how then do we get that? How do we get rid of that? And that's why we have this handheld, right? This is more accurate because we can just scan in real time. We can print a report from here only, right? And this will be then updating whatever we do in our warehouse in real time, the information back in Business Central. It connects to Business Central in real time. So that's the main usage. It gives us more accuracy, and as well, it's faster. Those two things are more than enough to explain why we use a Handheld. The second thing that we do here, this function I'm opening, we just need an Android device, by the way. It's not that complicated Android device. Many of and multiple handhelds that are in the market. We can help as well recommending any other hardware. But in the end, this is just an Android app, by the way, that we help installing this functionality we're about to see. That could be installed in a cell phone or tablet, maybe for the managers. Look at this. Let me just change a little bit the orientation. So easily, this could be one of the tablets that we could use, right? But the manager only does maybe a few scans through the day, right? The main warehouse clerk would use a real physical handheld. You know why? Because I'm sorry for that. They are just faster. We can scan from a larger or further distance, right? The actual item or being code, all right? So this gives us then this the physical real handheld is not only faster, but it has a keyboard, right? Let me just give you an explanation. Like we can use shortcuts with one single button just to start receiving, right? With one single button, do this other function like we would do with our computer, things like that, right? So that's it. That's why we would use a handheld. And once again, it's just an Android operating system, right? And as well as you're going to see another thing, not only the handheld that I'm presenting for you to see it, but as well, important, we are going to be now printing, yes, reports, but not in the same old-fashioned way where you need to print other type of reports. In this case, we have, for instance, the bin labels, okay? Let me just show you one of the reports. I can select my warehouse. And let's say that I would be printing a picking zone report, okay? The idea is that I'm printing the bins today as well, this type of reports, to give you the introduction to what it has. Is basically look at these barcodes that from now with the new technology is not only a regular EM13 barcode like back in the day, but now this is 2D, 3D as well, and handles more information. So we can just print this bin or a label for these labels, right? A label that we can just print for the bins, and then we just can stick it in the actual bins, and this could contain additional information other than just the pick 01 or pick 02 bin, right? Or the level. But maybe I don't know. In this bin, I actually allocate these specific items by vendor, manufacturer, or the return pick or the return bin, right? Where you can see additional information with these 2D and 3D barcodes that we have, correct? So they basically are just the same as a barcode that we can just scan, but the idea here is that they give us the functionality with additional information for any type of scan that we do. Here is a report. It's just basically that. In this case, the picking zone has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different picking bins in my actual warehouse. Good, interesting enough. Then, apart from that, I will just maybe just show you that we have or will be importing now the actual item labels, normal labels. You as well can print if it's going to be one. Let me just 1 second, filter by vendor if possible. Let's see. I would like to print my items. Okay, and well, the idea from here is that we are going to be able to select, for instance, some of the items that we desire to use. From my universe, this could be filtered by vendor, manufacturer, what else? Well, any type of filter that you want to have for printing. We have a lot of different types of filters for your reports at any given moment, right? That will be the main idea. And 10 of it. 1 second, let me start printing some of my reports. And here I have just specified a few filters. Good, let me check. And then, well, the idea is that I'm going to print just reports for this. Sorry for that, I haven't used this database in a while. I want to see the items for the demo that I want to use to actually just receive them. You get me here? That we can receive or that we can as well put away and so forth. And let me see just a filter for many items. This could be Citrix category, maybe. What else? And well, with these reports, once again, we can handle information like, for instance, vendor 40,000, which one? This could be a good filter. Whiteboard importers good. Okay, and yeah, maybe you have a color brand you need to measure. This is the actual item, tangerine, right? Or grapefruit, something like that. Yeah, a kilogram, this category citrix. Maybe all of these would be important, right? To mention in your actual barcode, basically. So with this, we are saying, okay, there's a way where I can see more than just understanding the actual barcode with just the item code that I should always, that I use, but additional information that might be even more important as well. Sometimes to actually we start moving items and be sure of the change of the things I'm about to do, because yes, I will be then taking decisions on the fly. Basically, any warehouse clerk will be at some point trying to review where to move things. This item doesn't have a label and things like that, right? So while I just continue to print, I'm just trying to find an actual filter for this report with multiple items that I can use. Let me see. Plenty of fields, right? Look at this. All of this you can actually filter to bring your reports. Stock out warning, store code, maybe you buy a store. What else? Even more things more trickier, like the unit cost among these and that, right? And for me, I want only the vendor number. Okay, so at some point, I know that I will be having, I don't know, an area you could separate. We can have fixed bins. Okay, we can say in this area you'll receive items coming from this vendor. That will be more or less a situation I can just creating in this moment, because I just took a look at the items, how I could in one report get multiple items, and I just saw the manufacturer, which is vendor number 4000, whiteboard importers. Very good. So I'm purchasing. Let's create a purchase for this one. But I just print the report as well. I need to just download it. There you go. Here I have multiple items, as I can see, and I will use them. Okay, let me download it so I can just go back to the functionality. Very well. Look how as well my report is separated, so I can actually create different type of designs. This could include multiple labels in one page, right? It's up to you how you want to use it. Yeah, here's a look at my grapefruit. I wanted to show you the label for some of these items as well. It's a 2D barcode grapefruit, but it contains all the information. It has a picture inside. It has a lot of information, cool information for me when I use in my handheld, right? Okay, let's then jump into the explanation as well. And so I can as well scan. The good thing about this basic process, let me just, with the handheld, very good. And now I'm sharing is that it's just connected to Business Central. Okay, so let's just start with the explanation now only within the handheld. You can see that I have multiple different icons, right? Item inquiry, bin inquiry, count, right? Item and bin inquiry in the first row for these icons in this app are just reviews. Okay, what I have, what an item, where is an item located, bin inquiry, what is the content in this specific bin when you scan the bin code only, of course. And then count. We have some additions, important additions, if you already know how to physical count in Business Central. Like one that I like the most is that when we count in Business Central, so to speak, and we start a physical count, the inventory in the system gets frozen. Don't take inventory or sell from this specific section where I'm counting. And we are used to that sort of counting, right? Most of the time in many companies in the past. Now that's not the case. We can still count even if we are actually selling from the same shelves in the store or in the warehouse if we are preparing a transfer order, because now even the counting will be dynamic with the Handheld. Remember that this is much more dynamic, much more accurate, works in real time. So if somebody takes an item, the Handheld will know as well. And then in the end, we can just, so to speak, readjust the counting to see what we have in reality after different type of transactions occur at the same time. Below that is a receive. Receive is when you have the truck, maybe the vendor is arriving, you are going to be unloading the merchandise, and you have in a reception area, a bay, right? Or these different doors that sometimes we have in the warehouses where you receive in multiple doors, multiple accesses, just to have then the second step, the put away. Is the second step of the reception where I will be putting away or allocate my items after I have receiving in my reception or bay area or reception bay, and I will need to allocate the items and stock them in different bins and different, maybe some items will be to the frozen department, some of them will be going to the specific bins, and the other and the bulk area will be the largest area, right? Or I don't know, wine will be dedicated only into 1 or 2 bins. That's more expensive, so we need to take specific care, right? But then we accommodate to different bins with different criteria. Below we have movements, basically. Okay, movements here. They are just, I want to pick this item from this bin and place it in another bin. Basically, that's a movement that could happen for like a wave, move plenty of items or just a few of them. Then we have picking. Picking as well help me to work and then send the items to the shipping area, right? Because in the bulk, maybe you receive a sales order to ship and to prepare items, then we need just to have a document to take the items from this bin and put them in the bay area as an example. And that's the picking. Then as well, sometimes we have as well what we call the license plate. I'm going to show that in a moment. Then we have just the shipment. The shipment, look at this green icon with the truck, right? The ship is just because we generate sales orders, of course, in the system. We need to move items and send them to the customer to a delivery area or by store, by customer, by document number, whatever. And we are gonna, after picking, just receive the items in our shipping zone to load the truck or any other in-transit process method that you would use, right, to the shipping process. It's up to how you use it, but the shipping is going to notify Business Central, these items are in transit. They have left the warehouse, right? That's the shipping process. Consumption and output is more an assembly order. Look at the icon below. Okay, they are just actually because we can connect with manufacturing and assembly process. If you know this part is a module in Business Central, we manufacture, we have a module for that to prepare production orders. With if it's complicated, so to speak, then we can just have machinery, times, workers, different type of paths or routes for the process to create a formula that will be a finished product, and then we use that to another formula and whatever, right? Or components. For that, we can consume the items when we take them from the warehouse and then generate the output when it's finished, okay, of the finished product, and then just continue updating our warehouse. Below, we have the license plate, and that's when we need to actually use pallets, correct? So very good. Pallets is because on the flight, maybe more used to explain, right? To explain the license plate. Some of us need to prepare a pallet for one customer with all the items he requested and we are about to sell. But that would be preferable not to only have like items in the truck, but even prepackaged in boxes as well, beautiful boxes and bags, or just a pallet, right? Just a pallet that you then palletize all the items for a customer. You prepare the pallet. You need to identify with a yes, a license plate label, like the one I have shown you for items and bins, and then move only the license plate through the Bay Area to the warehouse of your customers and so forth, right? But the license plate, generally speaking, works at any given moment, right? It doesn't have to be only for shipping. That's a more used functionality for palletizing. But as well, whenever we receive, we could create pallets. It's not a problem, okay? So there are all the options, just the navigation process. And then as well, I have this beautiful camera that I have in the top. Okay, I'm gonna go in a moment with that. So the good thing about having the handheld is that we are going to scan barcodes. Okay, and here I have my floating icon for one camera, which I will be using only with my smart device. I have here my telephone, by the way, not a real handheld, because my handhelds actually in order to do a good presentation for handhelds, preferably we should have like 5-6 different options, right? But if you ask me, I can send you a brochure with different types of handhelds, so you can get to know what are the best with the price, with different functions. For you to know, we have heavy duty handhelds that even if you drop them, on purpose, okay, that happen, they fall, they are crushed. Sometimes you can step on the handheld, nothing will happen. There are other handhelds that basically are like smartphones, but with harder cases, right? Still good, Gorilla Glass. The idea of the handheld is that it helps protect more the hardware that we have inside and still work very faster than just my smartphone that only, in order to scan, doesn't have laser or anything like that. It's just a camera, right? And then if I drop my cell phone, then that would be very sad. You understand me, right? So good. Now, coming back, I would like to do the first operation, which is the reception. Good. Whenever I receive, okay, I will be opening then my receiving icon. And from here, I'm connecting to Business Central in real time, right? Where I can see multiple warehouse reception. Look at this, the first column, okay? And this is good. Then I have an assigned user to take to do this tasks, right? And even I can change the orientation and then continue moving all the information back and forth. I'm trying to access to one of the orders. And from here, let's say, okay, I have the reception, I have the admin. The good thing about the handheld is that I can choose my columns, what I want to see in the handheld, right? That should be important. And if I remember, I was talking about having the vendor, right? I'm receiving for a vendor. So is the vendor name here in the handheld as well, so I can check it? Well, if it's not, you can make it visible by just check marking the visible option. And even the width that I have here for 40 millimeters, well, it depends on the size of your screen, by the way, just 40. Yeah, let's just call it that way. And with some practice, we are going to get into the actual design that we want, adding more information. Why not even barcodes? Well, not really important for me, the barcode, the source number, that will be as well important. References, sometimes maybe this is a container, this is a receive all the purchase orders with the container number 2, 3, or due date. Maybe for you is very important, the expiration date for your item. Super. Even you need to actually immediately send them to cross-dock or immediately send them to the picking bin, never stock some type of items and so forth. So it's just basically the idea that we can just design, right? Let me just come back. And in this case, I have added the vendor column in the end. It looks quite small. Maybe I should continue practicing my own design, right? But that's the idea, that you actually can make your screen look better at any given moment. It's not a problem with the choose column functions, okay? And as well, let's say that, yeah, you need to accommodate maybe by user. Okay, let's see. Well, in this case, I have only accommodated items for me, documents for me, right? For the admin. Look at this, assign user ID. But if we have multiple, then or reassign, then by document number, sort your documents. Look at this, okay? From A to C or C to A, so to speak, right? And then that's really good, because maybe we will need to first receive the heaviest items or things like that. And then how then this is how then this helps us actually to work faster with accuracy. Okay, so after I have just see this first screen for receiving, let me open one of the documents. 106126. This is a purchase order that somebody created, sent to the vendor, and we are just waiting for that reception. That should be an occurring today. That's why I'm seeing this document here, right? And remember that I'm seeing this item because of at this very moment, this is part of the reception process, okay? And I can see the bin. You will be receiving in the Rec 01 bin or reception bin, the item number, how many units you are were negotiated, right? Open quantities, what the purchaser negotiated with the vendor, the delivery quantity that should be here currently. And this is the plastic bottle, okay? Below, I have the quantity to receive is currently 0, meaning that I haven't yet started to scan this specific item or barcode. So let's just start with the scanning process. When I receive, I open my camera with this floating icon, right? And then I just need to click on that to then open my camera, like as I mentioned, right? In this case, with my smartphone, which is not the best scanner, it's just the camera. Let me try to, yes, to scan it. And look at this. It shows immediately the picture. We can configure that, how even if you want the picture to be seen or not with the practice as well, we can understand what we will be wanting, right, from the actual handheld device. Then a good thing as well is that I don't always need to scan everything, right? We can configure, according to this, I need to receive 5 units, right? So it's up to you how you want to configure this. You can continue scanning until you get the 5 units. But as well, we have this great keyboard that helps me to input the actual quantity. You can delete, input more, less, and so forth. And then as well, oh, sorry for that. This calculator, maybe you will be using it, okay? We have this calculator in your physical keyboard for input. That's what I'm explaining. 2 types of inputs that we have. If you want, then we just get the scanning process, or just identify scanning just once your item, and the following process would be inputting the quantities with the keyboard in your screen. And with this calculator, I would use it sometimes because maybe I'm counting boxes, but I know that it has more items inside. Okay, let's count a 6-pack, okay, if it's a beverage or different bottles, right? Yeah, I'm receiving different packs, but I know that inside has more units, so I will be receiving that and calculate that on the fly. So this is then the physical keyboard. This is done, very good. And this is then the plastic bottle that I will receive it. Is that all right? You want to continue scanning? If not, let's just click OK. And what I have done here in this reception WR00037, if you can take a look at the document number in the top, we actually are receiving for one vendor only. Maybe this is a container as well, or this is a truck, or okay, you decide that. But for me, in this moment, for me in the handheld. Okay, I don't see what was the criteria. The manager decided what should be the work for me today. That's the idea. I'm just checking all these receptions that I need to do for this vendor. And then I can see just some additional options like show completed, because once I scan my item, it just completely disappear. So I don't get confused with multiple items, and you can still click on the hide completed functions in this very moment, right? Hide completed. As well, we have this beautiful menu that we have here showing if you still can, you can change the quantity. Yes, not a problem. Look at the posting. After we finish, we just post and look at how it has beside the posting option F9. F9 is because this could be linked to any button on your physical handheld, so you can do processes faster with the physical keyboard. And believe me, super fast. When a warehouse clerk has some practice with all of this, immediately it's like, seamlessly moving everything. It depends. Maybe the accommodation of the items is the hardest part. For now, it will be just the handheld helps me to be super accurate. That will be the best part. And yes, it's of course accelerate the process. And then after my first scan, I can just still change the quantity, do a second item inquiry, all right, bin inquiry, some additional options. Okay. And then I'm gonna just pause this document. Do you want to post the receipt? Confirmation window, and then I'm gonna click on yes. Okay. That will be updating everything back for this warehouse process, updating my purchase order back in Business Central. Okay. It's just happening in real time at this moment, and it's just updating the information, even though my internet has a little delay. Okay. So that's it. You will be continuing with the actual reception process, doing this information. And look at this, we have another reception, quite interesting. I have here fruits. Oh, it just closed. Let me just reopen it, no problem. Yeah, like I said, since I have a smartphone, I have my meeting, I have everything interconnected with Business Central open in the cloud, a lot of functions, and that's why as well, just to show you, even if this is a good smartphone, the one that I have, but nevertheless, it's not the best, is not the best to actually do this type of operations. I don't want to break or interrupt my processes. Luckily, I finished, okay, and my document I register is not a problem, but that's why sometimes handhelds come in handy, because they are, so to speak, has specific hardware requirements for this type of apps, right? And then, of course, they are just more convenient. Okay, second step. Oh, no, I was explaining another reception process, sorry. Just before moving, because sometimes we have these items that you need to track, they have expiration date, or you need to a serial number, lot number. Can I just do actually just that? And I have a reception with fruits, right? A very easy item to understand. Fruits, oranges, or I can see other components. This is for a beverage, actually. To look at this, I have bottles, plastic bottles, screw cap, the orange, imported lemon Mexican. Okay, so yeah, what happened here that whenever, for instance, I want to then track, receive an item as well, look at this. It has a lot number. I will be receiving 100 kilograms, if I'm not mistaken, from this item. Yeah, look at this. I just forgot. What is this item about? Yes, it has unit of measure kilograms. Very good. And as well, whenever I receive, right? This could be the lot 00003, or you decide however you want it. Okay, we can serialize, help Business Central to provide you with that lot number. Okay, this is as well Mexican. I would say September 8, right? Sorry. This will be instead of the date Mexican lemon. This will be maybe the vendor name or any other, right? SEP, just like that. SEP first week. something that could be related however you want to use this. And I have included this good, average, bad quality because behind scene I could use it later for reports, certificate number, as well as another field. And the good thing is that you can customize this, right? Back in Business Central, the idea of this part is that basically we can create our own menus, not only the menus, we have as well different type of processes where you could just administer on your device, right? Let me show you. The idea is that for us, the menus back here are designed, or we designed this back in Business Central, right? For instance, let me just open one of the windows where we designed. Let me open for a second Business Central, or just present it once again. And here I have the devices menu, right? And look at this: item inquiry, basic inquiry, receive, put away. All the icons, all the functions that I'm presenting were designed here in Business Central. So with some training, or your people or your technical people, if they are interested in this type of menus and go through this learning process for all of this to make some customizations or adapt to your current process, let's go there. Okay, certificate number, and I was speaking about the lot number just before moving to menus part, and that will be okay. In order to receive, I will be including this information. No additional more information. Yes, expiration date. Why not by the end of this month, Friday, September the 3rd, and it gives me a beautiful calendar, right, with the date, even a beautiful pink color. Just to differentiate and pay a little bit more attention, is a pop-up window as well, you know, like any other application that actually uses this, and so forth, right? Input the quantity desired. There were one already, if I'm not mistaken. That will be the measure in this lot. Sorry. It was already pre-received. I never, yeah, it has the lot number too. Sorry. Yeah, I was inputting another lot number, but yes, it has the lot number 2 already with its own information. And for this is what we call the item tracking window, right? The item tracking window. So where we add the lot, not only for this will be for this line imported lemon Mexican. Look at it. Beautiful, right? So I don't have time to receive all of that, but I'm just explaining you the most important points here, right? That would be good to know. And then let me just do the second step. After I have, and I continue with the receptions, like more or less with this process for all documents, by the way. Then I would do the second, where I would need to accommodate items to specific bins, right? The put away. The put away, for instance, is as well a document that we just create, and we have a sequential number for these documents. We have the WPA, warehouse put away document, and a sequential number. In these documents, I can see I have the 14 put away for the day, okay? And then I just need to review what I have here inside. In this it's taking item to the peak 06. Okay. And this is, look at down below, this is an orange fruit bottle. I don't know anything about this document, what I should do with this simple operation. Somebody created it for me. I have the pick 0. I need to move items to the picking bin number 5. 1096 will be the item. Okay, not a problem. So in this case, the idea is that, well, I never knew everything, but I can see the information about the items. I don't have to print anything, you know, and then that will be it. Then I can continue once again scanning, beep, 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 beep. And look at this. Hey, we can configure this for you to be super accurate. No, I know this is the item, but as well, you need to pick the bin, correct? The idea here is that, well, it's just a best practice. We can't just get rid of this configuration. It's not a problem to avoid this type of bottleneck, only for those people who are who understand what the warehouse process is, not, you know, a newbie who can just move items accidentally here and there. But if it's that needed, and it's a really good practice, I would also do it all the time for any given implementation, but we can just scan first the bin. Okay. Oh, sorry, we're so fast. The bin, the pick zero, the picking bin 05 to be super sure about the scanning or the movement that I will be doing. And below in this screen, you can see pick 05, scan item bin, pick 05. Buried down below in this screen in the actual handheld. This is the actual bin where am I located, where I'm going to move the items. So I'm super sure about this picking item has precision, do it on time without me having to review multiple documents to, hey, where is it picking you indicated me, right? Things like that, questions like that, that just surely are complicated, especially if you're going to move fast. So I'm just reading the item, look at this beautiful picture and continue with this. This is 1/3 of this box. Oh, this is not a good, by the way, not a good unit of measure design. But it's not a problem because it's just a matter of, look at this, because maybe the bottle has 11.5 fluid ounces. In Business Central, we can as well configure that if the box, right? It's actually not, the box is thinking that it's managing fluid, all right? We need to specify to the system. This is a missing configuration that is just back in Business Central, I can tell you that. But the idea is that the 0.003333 is not okay. Okay, I will need to translate unit of measures back in Business Central to say this box contains how many bottles, not 11.5 fluid ounces. And Business Central use 11.5 fluid ounces surely. Okay, let's take care about that item design. And then look at this. This will cause the quantity and base quantity fields to be out of balance. Okay. So then I would need to rearrange this actual information then later back in Business Central to actually be okay. But what happened here? Let me just put away another document if possible or something for you to see. But the idea here is that I'm just in this very moment moving items and placing them in the picking zone. Okay, sorry, in any bin. In this case, I have for these putaways, take items from the reception zone and put them away. The first line in this other document is place the item in the bulk 004, the item 1085, and the picking, well, take it to the picking bin, the item 1090, place it in the picking bin 05. Different instructions, okay? And this is because as well, when I do a put away, I actually have different instructions for me in the handheld to let me just actually show the process back in Business Central. The idea here is that I have a put away, right? For us that we are learning. And look at this. This is wine bottle, case divider, things like that. Okay. It's a purchase order that I have already received. That would be the idea. Okay. And the process here is that two actual movements or lines a put away is about. WPA 11 is about taking the item from the reception zone, because remember, I have just received 100 units. And the second instruction is place the same item. The purchase order is this one. If you want as well, check it. Wine bottle, okay? Ball and move it to the bulk zone and the bulk bin code, okay? You as a manager could come back to Business Central to change the instructions that we will be receiving in the handheld, okay? So everything is just like that. But I wanted to show you what is the put away. Take from one place and move it to the other, correct? Very simple. And then I will then just moving, and this is the instructions that I have here back in the handheld. But in this case, just the destination, okay? It's just that, okay, let's just scan the items, or in this case, I'm just going to use the keyboard, okay? In this case, 100 pieces. Very good, no problem, done. Okay, let's click on OK. And then the picking bin 05. Okay, if somebody is looking for these items urgently or something like that, Let's just immediately scan them or input the units manually like I'm doing right now with this keyboard, right? And clicking them, committing all the items to the place where they are. And when I have already moved all of that, remember that we can configure that you need to scan them in first to be super sure that you are placing the items where you were instructed. Otherwise, the handheld won't allow you to actually complete anything, right? But from here, there could be a couple of good things. Maybe change the quantity, maybe split the lines. It's very common that at some point I don't have enough space in the actual bin where I was instructed to do so. In the end, I can split it and accommodate my items in maybe instead of only 2 where I was indicated, maybe just now use 3. Okay, change the bin in the end. Yeah, we can change it. It is not a problem for us. But let's say that sometimes you don't have the label of the item, right? You need to recognize the item. This is a case divider insert that gives me more. The item inquiry window that you see here gives me more information, right? Where currently this item might be, if it had serial numbers, what else? If it has a picture, let's just click on it. Yeah, this is a picture. I'm not sure, it doesn't have a label. I don't know how it looks like. I have never seen it, but well, here is my information. And I can print my label. Okay, how many labels you want to print? Because you as well need to track the item or the box or the pallet, and you can still do so. Maybe just a few of them because I was just receiving this. And if you need, you can print your item labels, and your warehouse clerk can in this moment send the labels to the printer. How many? 100. Okay, look at this. 100 labels for the item I'm receiving, so I can stick the label in the item and then voila, you just receive it. Because in the end, sometimes I need to actually, yes, do this. It depends on the type of product, of course. But well, it's up to you, and you can send it to the actual printer that you have in your warehouse. If you have a thermal printer or if it's a Windows printer as well, we just can just work with that. Okay, let me just it's because I don't have I don't have a printer here, of course. The document is queued. That's fine. So even though I have disconnected my own printer, it will be remaining in the actual history of your software. And look at this. Inside it isn't responding. This type of things will be happening whenever we actually run multiple applications, which currently I have within my smartphone. Like I said, these meeting plus the connection with Business Central and software. But that's not a problem. Let's just come back to the functionality. Okay, and now I'm going to show you the picking bin. Okay, the picking bin is more or less the same as the put away. It's just that we are going to pick the items from one single bin and place it maybe into the shipping zone or something like that, right? And that's the case here. It's like some items, a picking bin take. Look at this, take the items from one place. So it's not a problem. In this case, the picking bin is required. Let's go in this very moment while I receive this instruction. Okay, let's go. Then my manager called me, hey, review your pickings, complete them as fast as you can, or we have for this customer this delivery tomorrow, so let's start working on this, so you can schedule as well, right? But the idea is that here I would open the picking documents, review them, and immediately start scanning at any given moment. Let's say that I would just include the information, no problem. Let me just do it faster for now. Yeah. Okay. Very well. In this picking, the idea is that I will be placing items from the bulk zone, right, and take them to the picking area, because I will be then maybe what could be the generic example here. I could verify information, right? Normally, whenever I want to start working with this, my manager told me that this would be for a specific customer. I need to create a pallet in this very moment before taking it to the shipping zone where the trucks are. Or at this point, I could start a license plate. Okay. And this is asking me, do you want to start a pallet or a box or whatever? The license plate is just a container, basically. I want to put this item in a container. In this case, let's think of a pallet. All right. And then the idea is that I want Business Central to assign me an LP. Okay. Down below, you are going to see in this screen, in the lowest line of this screen, you're going to see the license plate that Business Central has assigned, LP 00010. Okay. I picked all these items and put them in this pallet, in this container. This could be a box or with different sizes, right? And the idea is that in this moment, if I even have issues, right? Hey, what has happened here? Give me information about this or that item, because I don't know how to take decisions on the fly. This is a cherry bolt item for 50.4 fluid ounces. What has happened from where I can actually just take it, and we can see the recent transactions. Okay. Let me just take a review of this window, because I need, oh yes, okay, this is the source. These items were already shipped to the AA on the 1 week ago, right? I shipped this item in the shipment 10/2/42. Nice. And as well, I can see that I actually have an income, inbound, excuse me, my translation, I'm Mexican, and then the idea is that I'm receiving the items. This is positive. This is an entry for 100 in the document 10/72/77. Okay. And this is a way we can read transactions. We can see what has happened in the past with the item to actually, well, your warehouse clerk at some points, if you want him to work efficiently, he sometimes need to resolve questions on the fly, correct? And with this, with the picking, with the pallet, by reviewing additional information to be super sure about, well, I'm picking at this moment and so forth, right? The idea is that you are doing all these processes at the same time. And look at this, you can even print the license plate or container or pallet label, maybe for shipping. Okay, so you can then track this specific label. I don't want to print it. Okay. But that will be the picking process with this additional license plate. And back in Business Central as well, the good thing is that remember that we are in connection in real time. I want to then understand what I have, how many license plate I have currently, how many pallets and where they are and so forth, right? So here I have created a cherry bomb license plate. And currently, let me see, plastic bottle, different license plates. Very good. Let me see one that has a one that I did. Yep. And here a license plate. This is another one actually for a previous item that contains all of them. Okay, different items that you have here. You can see 1085, 1092, a wine bottle, and then how many units you have in this license plate. This is a container, by the way, right? If you want to lock it so nobody moves the pallet anymore. If you want to send it through a carrier, we have additional functionality we're going to see next week. Because guess what? We can just immediately from here, let's say that this is not only a pallet, but we need to send it to FedEx, to DHL, a carrier. I can connect Business Central to those carriers to then give me the actual service rate. It depends on how far you're going to send a package. But we have a dynamic shipping functionality to connect with the carriers to get the actual rates, to print the package labels, and the package can be then later tracked in FedEx, DHL, UPS, a website, everything from Business Central. Okay, so this is a license plate that could help us as well to work while we just pack all the items in one single container or or package basically, right? And then that's it. This is the picking idea. We are creating these bins, moving to the shipping area. We are as well creating the license plate. Last but not least, the process will be ending whenever a customer is looking for some of my items. I create sales orders, right? Back in Business Central. So I have assigned to the sales order the number S ORD, and a consecutive number. All of these in this shipping section, in this shipping document, all of them are sales orders, by the way, for but shipping as well could be just for transfer orders, right? But I just wanted to mention this, that in connection with the sales order, the picking is just actually connected, okay? They are just one single process in the end. Picking and shipping is just one outbound process. Receiving and put away in the end is just one single process as well, right? Or workflow in the end. It's just that you just need to post the shipment. We already have the quantities that were before picked. In this moment is only when the items were loaded, the pallet was loaded. I don't have to recount. I don't have to break the bulk, especially because that's why I use pallets. That's why we use it for us to learn, right? Why I use pallets? Because when I ship, I prepare my own pallet when I was picking. So the shipping process is super faster, okay? And you can still, continue printing information, your labels. Remember, you can still print labels, right? And verify information. I don't know in this very moment. Let's just verify what I have in this shipping zone currently. I have multiple pallets, yeah, but what the actual pallet has, okay, or the license plate. Okay, I can see that I have oranges, mango Jamaica juices, cherry ball juices. You like them? Okay, good. That's fine. Verify your lot numbers before even sending, because I need to verify that everything in my shipping zone in real time. Okay. Normally, you will need to go and review physically. You go to the shipping or shipping bay and start checking what is behind there. Okay, or if it's multiple items, you are preparing a truck, a container, you will be getting lost, especially with time. But in this moment, I just, with this pin inquiry instruction or report, very, very basic in my handle, I can just immediately just scan in any bin, in any zone that I have, that I would ask for your layout, how you want to then divide, basically, like give me the shipping zone. Do you have bins there? Do you have different areas? Give me the bins, give me the codes and all of that, right? That will be quite detailed. I need to be honest. We need to think about how to actually structure the warehouse, but in the end, this is a process. I want to know all the items that are in this bin, nothing else. What do you want to do? I could take all these items that are currently in any given bin and create and put them in a pallet. So you have bins dedicated only for shipping for specific customers. That's another way I love when warehouse designers think of that, but it's not mandatory. Anyway, the handheld helps me to do work in real time, faster and accurate. The other one will be print all a report for all the items that are in this bin currently, because I need to give a report to my manager, because he needs to be sure I was just finalizing my picking, but somehow we broke some items, or we don't know where some items are, right? What happened there? Okay, can we print a report of how many units do we currently move from the different base to the shipping zone? Print that. And warehouse entries. This is then when we need to, and you can see that things get more interesting, right? Warehouse entries. If I have done for today, okay, we can configure this for you. If you have posted multiple shipments, you can see, well, everything you have done, the library or your archive of everything you have done today, right? I have not currently finalized my process today, so it's currently blank. Correct, but this is what I have. This is my bin inquiry. I haven't sent from the shipping bay currently. This is the shipping zone 01 with all these items and with all these inquiries to resolve issues. Remember that, right? To resolve issues, to help my manager, to help my team to be more accurate. And with this, surely you will be actually just doing so. And well, this is just Oh, this is just finalized. Sorry, I need to continue scanning and do all of that. Okay. And then because time is flying, oh, okay. I need to still do a lot of receptions for this. I don't have the time, right? I would need to before shipping. You need just to complete all the scans because you have picked them. There is no way items are missing at this point if you have indicated in the picking section. Okay, I have picked them, place them in the shipping area, and this is quantity, cannot be just touched. Okay, and this is my configuration. We can just change it for you. You can tell me no. For any given reason in my real warehouse process, if I pick from the picking to the shipping process, I still can lose items. Okay, so get rid of that fixed number, that configuration you did in your handheld. I don't want it. I still need to sometimes do a second review. That's fine. And now the last transaction would be counting. Good. Let me, hopefully this has been an easy webinar to see everything, not too much, too complicated. Good. If you have questions, you can ask me, interrupt me. It's not a problem. I'm checking here if you have additional questions. Now, counting. The idea of counting is that, first of all, in Business Central and regularly, almost any system freezes the inventory when you start counting. So nobody would take items from a specific zone when you send the counting team, where you send the counting team. Nobody can transfer from that zone, being whatever, right? With this, no. Remember that we are working on real time and we are trying to be more accurate. Send your teams to count independently. If you are still processing other transfer or other stuff, we can still count. Now, what will be then as well another benefit of this inventory, advanced inventory count, I'm going to call it. I have two sheets, sheet one, sheet two. Let's think of different teams, right? Business Central, standard Business Central. Number one drawback, you still work with physical reports, which when it comes to physical inventory, I don't know if your warehouse is that big, but you might end up with 100 different sheets, printed sheets for different people. After 2 days of handling, I don't know, 2,000 units, is going to happen with those printed pages? And then that's the first drawback. Now with the handheld, everything will be fixed. Okay, that's the best part of actually of the handheld, that you will be working faster and being more accurate. Then we can when we can work with dynamic inventory if needed, and in the end, before posting, we, so to speak, update the quantities calculated that the system has calculated that it has, even though we were counting and even though we were selling at the same time. Second, I have this sheet number one, sheet number two, because in first place, if I wanted at any given point, what I could do just just between us, the sheet number two will be dedicated for somebody. Noé sends somebody to any given area in the warehouse, correct? And I just gonna ask to Noé, hey Noé, please tell me what is in that area, in that shelf, and I will just do a, so to speak, a blind count, correct? Here I want a random item that I found, the mango Jamaica. Let me see. Good. The mango Jamaica. Look at this. No. In which bin you are located? You cannot just come and start telling me that you have items where they are located first. Okay, so let's continue counting. I would need to print in this very moment my picking or my bins report. Look at this. I have different bins with this beautiful 2D, 3D barcode, because I do not only work with the I don't only want to understand which in which bin I am. I want to know if it is for a manufacturer or for a specific customer or whatever is behind it. So this is why 2D, 3D barcodes are the best for this type of process. Okay. And this is the pick 04 bin. Look at down below this screen, the pick 04 bin. Very good. This is where I'm located at currently. Now I have indicated that to the system to be super accurate about my counts. And then, yeah, come back and start reading my items. Okay. Right. This is then once again the beautiful picture. You decide if you want it or not, and then just if you want to continue scanning or just input here immediately the quantity once again. Nothing is just what I have shown today through the different processes, but for the physical quantity. The only idea that I wanted to show is that, well, basically this is a blind count, okay? Basically that. And nothing complicated. I just continue scanning whatever is there. Just give me the information, right? This will be for the team number 2. And what about the sheet number 1, which will be the team number 1? Okay, the thing here is that I need to verify specific items, maybe for a cycle count, which we have, by the way, which we really have. And well, I need to only count cycle count items for this month. So my manager can tell me what to count, go to the, let's just check the first line, to the bulk area, item 1040. Let me just change the B once again. Sorry for start, because I'm actually moving my screen, right? And that's happened because in my smartphone, sometimes in order to present a better view, well, this could help me. Okay, and here I have, well, the first line, quantity 10 pallets were counted, and here, but the idea here is as I count, is that, well, you are actually designing or predefining for a warehouse clerk why, what, and when they need to count something. Okay, remember, look at this, the unit of measure, this item, very important. I forgot to mention, sometimes I like to talk about the item design. Sorry, we might have different barcodes, we might have different unit of measures, and you know that the light bottle 600 milliliters is beautiful because I can sell it in units. But what happens if I need to count in another area? Well, I might have other unit of measures to count. So I have a 6-pack, a bottle, a box, or even a pallet. And if you are actually here with the handheld, I could first of all scan the box, okay, scan the license plate, scan the container, whatever you have, okay. This will then help us to then not have mismatches later because the actual warehouse clerk never understood what was the actual unit of measure. Sometimes the warehouse clerk doesn't have to, and he doesn't have to know how you design your items, right? So this will help them to manage that. Just read the barcode and input the quantity, okay? And immediately with my scan, the system told me these are boxes, okay? These are not bottles. I'm not counting bottles, okay? You can change it, but I'm counting boxes just because of the barcode. Super important, right? And well, the idea is, once again, this was predefined by our warehouse manager, and I just would need to complete whatever he told me to count. And that's how then I could continue creating sheets with different type of criteria. Maybe count a bean, count a son, count well, maybe the annual physical count, well, but divided by teams and so forth, right? And well, it's in comparison to the actual traditional warehouse physical inventory journal, where I need to show you this. We just calculate, it's still usable, right? Calculate inventory. This is the normal warehouse, right? But this is what I'm talking about. Well, I could decide to count a zone, okay? I could decide to count a bin. All the basic functionality that we have in Business Central is taken to the handle, plus the additions that I have explained you, right? And as well, just to mention, it will be important, item design. Just to finish the webinar, thank you for coming. Please tell me if you have doubts so I can just verify if I just if you have a pain point, right? This type of processes. If you want to see something in other webinars, next week I will be shipping, connecting Business Central with carriers, FedEx, DHL, UPS, prepare our own packages. We have connection with carriers, so you can send to other areas, countries, using just carrier services, your items to other to other countries, states, or regions. Okay, warehousing for the Coca-Cola. Look at this. Okay, important. My Coca-Cola currently has these attributes. All of them are very useful sometimes in my warehouse. This is the brand, the unit of measure, the actual description, right? All of this can be then transferred in your actual handheld. I strongly recommend to have it. What else? We as well have, when we do an implementation or whatever, if you want to ask me if you have constraints, especially manufacturing is super precise when it comes to inventory. I have a lot of questions sometimes from manufacturers. But anyway, all of us, when we talk inventory, we need to be, yes, precise. Unit to measure, like I mentioned, I have 6 cases, pallets, pieces, but here is the trick. My pallet has 50 bottles, right? We indicated behind the scene. So the handheld is not doing any calculation. I just transfer what I scan, and back in Business Central, cost, how many bottles, or how whatever, any calculation, right? Just to mention, for our warehousing process, if you want, we can work with capacities. Okay, look at these fields by unit of measure. Is not the same, the size of a pallet. Maybe the box is smaller and the 6 case is smaller, and the unit, well, I don't even sometimes measure the units. But as well, if a constraint of you is the actual capacity, we as well can enable that. The last thing to count, to indicate, is the actual physical inventory count period, okay? In this case, you can tell me, for instance, and as well for the handheld, even though I came to an item that we have finished the webinar, basically, okay? Handheld is handheld and nothing else. But the item here, you can decide how often you want to count an item. This is the fast. Look at this, monthly, yearly. Well, nothing to do with a Coca-Cola, sorry, but it's an idea. Very expensive item, a high control, counted on a, look at this, 12 times a year, counted on a monthly basis, basically. And well, you decide, yeah, the count frequency per year, right? This is what is going to tell Business Central when and how to count, okay? With this specific physical inventory count periods, and with our functionality, if you want to have teams in the going through the warehouse, well, basically that's it, right? Just as a bonus, this is my forecast. This is Cortana, just as a bonus, right? We can, once Cortana finds a trend, okay, a trend, okay, very good. Let's just see if that has a sales forecast. Not yet, or maybe it's not updated. I don't remember. Long time ago I used this one, but okay, this is it, right? The inventory is depicted. This is the inventory forecast for the following months. In this case, even, right? Well, not that far. This is telling me that I will be having, I'm doing a rearrange for 2023. That's strange. No. Let me try to understand. Oh, before moving. Well, this is Cortana, by the way, called machine learning, right? Machine learning. I'm sorry to play with like this with you guys and everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just doing some very fast settings. Here's the reason, work date. Sorry, my license in Azure, in this demo environment, I'm connected to Azure, by the way, only has a license to work until 2023. Okay, and that's somehow the reason for my core forecast to be, look at this, on January 2023, when it's September. But what is behind this? If you at some point want to have it, this is not exactly warehousing, but the idea here is that at least we can connect it. It's a small assistant, right? A small assistant. We can create a purchase invoice maybe for some item where we forecast that we have like a negative trend, hey, for your inventory, but we need to then update our sales forecast, compare it. And the idea of Cortana, now that we are here in the item design, is that, yeah, look at this. This is coming from Azure. Azure offers Cortana, or machine learning, the way we call it now. Okay, and then we connect with Azure. We provide some additional information while it's just calculating. Well, do we have a small forecast? That's the window you saw. Okay, but important for us in the webinar, attributes, remember the unit of measures, remember the warehouse a physical counting period, next counting start date at when it should be, next count end date when it should be. Since I haven't counted the item, I would need to count them in this month. And then if it's a normal item, how many times? Twice a year. Well, if I counted it this month, which I should because this was supposed to be counted in January, then the next count will be in 6 months, correct? And that will be all for today. Thank you very much. Hopefully this was an interesting webinar. Please let us know. I can as well, we can send the recording, the video, if you need it, tell me, let me know. You can find me at noe.wellman@optimus.guru. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we can see once again each other next week. Thank you and have a great week.